Hello, Abuja. You are listening to 93.7 Citizen FM, the latest radio station based in Nigeria's capital. Our station seeks to broadcast a broad mix of culture and views with priority given to development programming to enable residents share ideas and opinions, music and drama. At Citizen FM, we believe in progressive talk and solution-driven conversation. Our aim is to build a united Nigeria by bringing people of diverse culture together through communication. Enjoy listening to 93.7 Citizen FM. We are more than just a radio station. We are a part of your life.
Good afternoon, Abuja. Thanks for staying with us here on 93.7 Citizen FM. How are you doing today? A very beautiful afternoon to you. Thanks for being with us. It's a Wednesday, and the check your time is come up to 9 minutes past 3. This very sunny Wednesday afternoon. My name is Ernest, and it's another time on our program, Politics Now. Thanks for being there. Of course, as you know, the Politics Now is the show we put together to look at the issues concerning our country, its trajectory, political trajectory, what is being done, what can we do, how can we make our country a better nation so that even those who are running away can begin to run back home, and those of us who are here can be happier for being Nigerians. Thank you for being there once again. Now, of recent, of course, we've decided to start setting agenda for the incoming government of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Hopefully, when he gets sworn in from May 29th this year. And so now is the time to start to begin to look at the areas and the things he needs to do, the errors made by the current administration, and how they can be corrected when his administration comes into power or into being. Some things have taken place during these elections, and we'll be looking at them in terms of the media approach, and of course the issue of powers being separated or being I don't know what politicians call it, whether whether they are dividing power. See, the vice president comes from this part of the country, the Senate president comes from that, and the House Speaker comes from that. All those jostlings are going on right now, and we shall be finding out more about that and what the ruling party is planning to do in respect of all of that. And giving voice to those issues today is no less a person than a member of the media committee of the APC Presidential Campaign Council. I have the pleasure of welcoming the former Commissioner of Information in Edo State and a very good friend of mine, Prince Kasim Afegbua, to the studios of Citizen FM. Kasim, you're very welcome to the studios of...
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Okay, Kasim, how are you doing?
I'm okay. Thank you very much. I'm sure this is the first time we're seeing after the victory of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and you didn't congratulate me. I was wondering whether you are no longer part and parcel of my political movement.
Guys, don't rope me in. You are my friend.
Yes.
Many years ago, you tried to rope me into your political movement, not with APC. What is the name of National
Democratic Party?
National Democratic Party. That was more than 20 years ago.
You're supposed to be looking out for your friends. And when there's a victory as this, you have to extend your hand of congratulations to
okay,
me.
You can say that. I'm a journalist.
It was a hard-fought battle,
okay.
And we're happy that it turned out the way it is.
Okay.
Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu as president-elect.
Okay.
Undisputably.
Okay,
so.
I agree that congratulating you will not be out of order. So congratulations on that.
Thank you very much.
Okay, very good.
Yes.
Very good.
Now you are behaving like a Omoluabi.
Now let's go back. Let's take a step back a little bit to the governorship elections and some of the things, even the presidential election as well, and some of the things that we'll just touch them a little bit before we move further into what we expect Asiwaju to be doing as time goes on. Like I was saying before, why? What happened? Because of recent, the media team of the campaign council of the APC, of course, wrote a petition against a television station over some of the broadcast materials that emanated from them after the election results had been declared. And today we have a 5 million naira fine having gone out to that station. And I was wondering that following what we have seen with President Buhari's government, the way his media managers, including the information minister, have not really won over the Nigerian people. And I remember the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations coming out one time to say, managing the president's media image is not just only a media affair, it's also a public relations affair. I felt that it was not necessary to have written a petition against that TV station, that this issue could have been handled differently so that Asiwaju does not start and is already fighting with the media. I don't know
how differently would you want him to be? You want us to take cutlass and cudgels and go to the street and be protesting like others are doing? We are not going to do that. We are civilized people.
No, I'm talking about media relations.
Yes, we are civilized people. When we see that there are infractions and even some media houses breaking the ethics and code of conduct as expected of them, from any media house, you write a petition to the regulatory body, in this case National Broadcasting Commission.
Yeah, that is correct.
And if it is print, you go to the NPC or NPO, Nigerian Press Organization, and all of that, and you lay your complaints. You see, the role of the media in building and molding societal opinion is very crucial, very significant. You can't undermine it by just one sentence or one word. One spoken word, you can set the whole country on conflagration, and if you are not careful, that it may snowball into what you don't know. But by the time you look at countries that are at war and you trace the origin of what caused some of those wars, you find out that it's just a manner of speaking, that the right syntax, the right lexis and structure were not applied, to cushion, their spoken word. And so for me, the honorable thing to do was to petition when you hear an aspirant behaving in such a fascistic manner, behaving in an unacceptable way, speaking, interrogating, and try to undercut democracy that we all fought for very strongly. If he was not part of those struggles, those people who lost their lives in the struggle for democracy in 1999, it's understandable. But if he was part and parcel and he actually saw what happened in Nigeria before then he should bury his head in shame for even trying to provoke public anarchy just because you didn't win an election or because you are having issues with the election. I don't know. If you burn down this country, is that way you are going to be vice president or president, as the case may be, of the Labour Party? I think we have to show decorum. We have to show respect for etiquette, respect for code of conduct, in doing anything. Any lawful society must apply its rules and regulations, its laws, as contained in the relevant statutes. And for the vice presidential candidate of the Labour Party to go on national television and talking as if you own this country, I think it's like putting his eyes into his fingers into our eyes and wanting us to just not blink our eyes.
I agree with you, Kasim, that maybe his statements were a bit incendiary and not becoming of somebody who was aspiring to the office of the vice president of Nigeria. But at the same time, I believe that at the end of the day, it is the media house that is not suffering, which also is in a position to also help the work of Asiwaju as we move forward.
No. You see, that's the responsibility of the anchor. An anchor of any program on the electronic media, be it radio, television, and other online platform, is for you to know where to apply brake and where to caution your interviewer or interviewee, to caution him or her on what not to say in public. And if certain words have been uttered and you find that to be offensive to the psyche of the Nigerian nation, you tell him to take back his words. That's how we're taught in Nigerian Institute of Journalism. take back your words. These are not the words of Channels Television or the words of Citizens FM. And please, can you please withdraw that statement, because this democracy is too dear to us and all of that. We're just barely 24 years old in this democracy, and somebody is already calling for anarchy, is already calling for an interregnum and in some kind of insurrection and all of that. Who the heck are you? Because you contested election and because you didn't win, so heaven should be let loose and we should break every other person? It's all a matter of contest. Okay. You know, the democracy is all about majority rule. Minority will have their say. Majority will have their way. That's what they told us. Okay. And 49% in a democracy is a minority. 51% is a majority. That's how curious the balancing act is. Only 2% ratio. You get a majority. Just simple majority. That's what they call it. 51% out of 100. So 49% can be so loud and lousy and shouting on top of their voice, but the 51% will already have their way. So you must know how to apply yourself when you are coming to contest election. You should know that it is either you lose or you win. And you must display a sense of sportsmanship, for God's sake, where you lose elections, because the overriding interest is that of the country, not your own personal aggrandizement.
Yeah, that is correct. That is correct. I was more interested, not necessarily about the past of what he said, and definitely, I know that the Nigerian people are discerning enough to understand when somebody wants to just raise issues over nothing. But the point I'm trying to make here is the media relations of Asiwaju and his team going forward.
Don't cry more than the bereaved.
I agree.
Ernest,
yeah.
Let me tell you.
Okay.
Any media that is reckless, irresponsible, you cannot hide under the cloak of being a media platform, and you want to provoke or incite the public, or not helping to mediate or abate, statements, incendiary statements that are capable of shaking the very foundation of a already fragile country. This country is fragile. We all know that. There's no national cohesion. There's polarization everywhere. There are sentiments that are primordial. There are clannish attachment to where you come from and all of that. Ethnicity and all of that, and religion and all. So in such a sensitive situation where you have a conflict between centripetal and centrifugal forces, as a media house, you must at all times live above board and be responsible when you talk to people, when you interview people, you bring people to your program. Don't get carried away, don't get insulated into it like some other persons will do in Arise TV. They are the ones celebrating, and they are saying Hussein Rufai and Ruben Abati and all of these people, and then tomorrow you want to clap yourself. Meanwhile, they are members of political parties.
Okay, because I don't know why you are beginning to mention my colleague stations and my colleagues, but what I'm trying to ask is...
You see, we always run away from truth. Let the truth be told.
Okay,
at all times.
I am looking at you. You're standing a very good chance here of being the Minister of Information or one of the media aides of the President, Asiwaju, when it comes into power. Does that mean that in terms of the media, you're not going to cut the media a little slack, and then let's resolve this thing in a friendly manner before we take the ultimate action?
I'm a trained public relations person, being a member of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations. I'm trained. I attend workshops almost on a regular basis. The last one just barely 2 months ago. We do training all the time. They tell you scenarios, they present scenarios to you, and they ask you questions, and you have experts' opinion coming to tell you what you should do at every point in time. I have a different orientation than those who are presently handling the speaking aspect, of the presidency under President Buhari.
Okay.
But what I can tell you, I will not tolerate insolence on the part of any media house, even if I'm given any portfolio to manage the media. But I will try as much as possible to make the government open and transparent in terms of the kind of information we turn out. The ones that are due for the public to know, they will know. The ones that are supposed to be classified, they will be classified, because in the interest of national security, you need to classify some information. Okay. But as a government spokesman, you have information more than every other person out there, because government spokesman relate with virtually all organs and agencies of government, be it security, police, intelligence, formation, DSS, and all of that, on any issue. So you are better equipped. Now, having been equipped with information, how do you now give out the one that will be for the interest of the public and hold back some that will also help, internally for you to checkmate, to keep a lot of things in check.
Okay.
So you don't have to compare me with some persons who are there now. But what I'm saying, Excellence, is that as much as you want me to be responsible in the way and manner that I address Nigerians on issues of sensitive national importance, I will also expect the media or media houses to be responsible and see themselves as partners in progress and not adversarial, because the certain interests are not being catered for.
Okay.
So when you don't apply the laws that we have in the broadcasting code, then why did you set up the code ab initio? Don't forget that even that document of the broadcasting code was actually a military document that was handed over to the democracy. So it is about time for us to retool it, to rejig it, and to overhaul it to suit the dynamics of democracy and the principles of same. So I'm of the opinion very strongly that media must at all times be responsible. You know, the era of social media has also, opened the floodgate to all manners of bestialities and inanities, and you get fed up with all manners of fake news every now and then. And when you want to talk about moderating them and even regulating them, people are shouting blue murder. If you have not been beaten, you won't know how painful it could be for a fake news to be carried about you. I have been beaten 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times.
You don't need to overemphasize that. It's very, very clear that fake news is very, very dangerous.
So for me, we have to be responsible at all times. Okay. That's just the truth.
Okay, but, as you know, Kasim, here at Citizen FM, we dwell on responsible journalism.
Please go and educate your colleagues.
We deal with the responsible journalism. We don't take sides. We are neutral. We are here to serve the interest of all Nigerians, irrespective of their political, religious, or whatever affiliation. Whether ethnic or whatever. So you're welcome again here. You're hearing the voice of Prince Kasim Afegbua, the former Commissioner of Information in Edo State, but we're hoping maybe he's going to be elevated to a bigger seat now as a member of the media team of the APC PCC. I think I'm correct with that. So now, so many issues have been coming up as to the allocation, let me use that word. I don't know if I want of a better word to use in terms of issues going on with how positions will go in the National Assembly. Unfortunately, however, people have said that Asiwaju is not around to superintend this whole thing, and so there's a lot of shenanigans going on. People just
why are you in a hurry? Asiwaju needs a deserved rest after a rigorous campaign that took him across this country for 2 solid months without break. Since he returned from Saudi Arabia on January 2nd, 2023, he didn't rest all through, travel around almost all 36 states of the Federation. In some places,
people say the rigors of running Nigeria are very, very hectic. He's going to he should be ready to be working 26 hours a day.
No, he's not going to be a grave digger. He's not going to the president to start digging grave. He will assemble men of timber and caliber, young, vibrant men who have intellect, who have ideas of how to deliver on promises, on responsibilities, on delegated responsibility, and all of that. He's going to also assemble people who are competent in their own right in their different fields of endeavor to help add value, in translating what he has in his document, Renew Hope, for the overwhelming good of the country. And so what you call allocation is not allocation, it's called power sharing. After power acquisition, the next stage is power sharing. How do you share power equitably to the point that there is a sense of inclusiveness and belongingness amongst all the sub-nationals across the country? And in a country with several ethnic multiplicities, sitting on a delicate balance, intricate logic of a skilled federal system, you are bound to have people lobbying and wooing, the stakeholders to get certain things to their side. As I speak to you now, I am already on the field.
Before we get into that,
I'm already on the field telling people that they should zone the Senate presidency to the south.
Yeah, before we get into that, Kezi, you mentioned something now, and I just realized that that was something I needed to pick up on. That there has been a challenge of the Nigerian youth over time, that especially when they look at the President Buhari administration, that youths were not very much. I mean, there were a few youths, but to a large extent, youths are about 70% of Nigeria, from what the UN is telling us. That are you can you assure Nigerians that we're going to have youths, people like you, young people who can relate with the young Nigerians, running affairs and doing things, so that there's this clamor that the youth say we don't want old people again. But if young persons are in place in certain sensitive positions, like a young man like you as Minister of Finance, for instance, and people of your age and below having such sensitive positions who are capable and able, is that a possibility that Asiwaju is looking towards doing that to bring the Nigerian youth into?
Well, I'm not going to speak for Asiwaju and the kind of government or cabinet is going to set up. But from his antecedents, when he was a governor of Lagos State, we know that he actually introduced youth participation in governance. Quite a number of his appointees were young, vibrant men. Even now, as we speak, throughout the campaign, a lot of his lieutenants were actually people of younger age. His agency, his CSO, his PA, his protocol officer, they are your young minds, people that you can connect to easily. Okay. But again, there has to be a mix of the old and the young. I ran a party before, which you alluded to earlier on, the National Democratic Party, and we were preaching youth and generational leadership change. But we discovered in the process of our electioneering that you need to marry the two together. There has to be a conscious and deliberate effort to carry out an evolutionary process of transfer of power from the older generation to the younger generation. But now you ask yourself, are the youth actually prepared? Are they ready to even assimilate or inculcate some of the ethics of the older generation or even the experiences?
But by Nigerian definition, you are a youth.
I don't know what definition you are talking. I'm over 50, so I don't know whether all I know is that I've got something upstairs to contribute if I'm given opportunity to serve at any capacity. I've served before as a commissioner for information in Edo, and I discharge my responsibility to the best of my ability. But essentially, what we need is constant and consistent and sustained effort at orientating the minds of the youths. We need a complete attitudinal change in this country. We need to begin to speak to people so that their expectations, they don't overshoot their expectations in terms of what government can offer and what you as an individual citizen can also help government to achieve. It is one thing for government to have a lovely policy, a lofty policy that when implemented will, have overwhelming impact on the well-being of the people. It's another thing for the people, the public, the youth, the women and all of that to also buy into such policies and help drive it.
Because your job as a media person to get them the buy-in.
It is not just about media. Everybody is a media. And the most effective media is the word of mouth, one-on-one, interpersonal interactions in beer parlors, barbing salons, where you go to do.
Kasim, we just came back to what I was saying before. A situation where people who manage the image of the president are calling a certain group of Nigerian whalers and things like that. It will not help the president.
Well, that is their own orientation.
That's what I was saying.
That is their own orientation.
There must be a new approach where you bring the people together.
That is their own orientation, and it's possible that they weren't trained in the art of public relations. Okay. Because essentially what you do at that level when you are speaking for the number one citizen of the country is purely public relations.
I'm happy to hear that from you.
And your public relation tools must be sharp in such a way that when you speak, they will know that here you are speaking for the number one citizen and not just speaking for one local government chairman. Okay. And so, because after God is the president of the country, that's just the truth. He's the number one citizen. He's the one who approximates and appropriates all the laws of the land and all that, particularly in the Nigerian situation where presidents almost approximate the powers of the Constitution. They say we are waiting for the body language of the president. We want to see what the president has to say.
What he thinks before the IG acts, before the chief of army staff acts.
So the Constitution is there, the provisions are there, but in Nigeria, for God's sake, a lot of these things.
I'm happy that somebody like you with all these ideas will be nearer to power now.
Are you giving me an expo?
I'm not giving you an expo. To begin to moderate some of these challenges we've had in our country over time. But let's not get into the issue now, because time is not our friend, of this power sharing, like you said before. And there's been argument that the Southeast should be in position to present maybe the Senate presidency, House of Representatives and things like that. And you were making allusions earlier of where you were tilting your own support?
South.
Why is that?
South, because
we are looking at Nigeria being balanced, that's the balance. That's the balance. Moving forward together. Whether
South is no longer part of Nigeria.
No, I'm not arguing against the South. I just want to understand how is that? How
you see, this is my own power sharing. South Senate presidency, Northwest deputy Senate president.
Speaker.
Southeast deputy speaker. North Central speaker. That's my own sharing, and making a case for my South because of the kind of contributions the APC put in place. The APC has majority senators in the National Assembly. They have majority governors, for example. They have majority House of Assembly members. They have majority House of Rep member, and as a party. So the point is, those who are clamoring that these elections weren't free and fair, having won all of these categories of elections, how possible will it be that the APC will not win the presidency? Just ask yourself. You have most governors, most House of Reps, most House of Assembly, most senators. Then it will now come to presidency. Somebody else will say he won.
I agree. If you remove emotional arguments and really sit down to look at the demographics, the points of the fact that
they are not valid. They are not valid claims.
If APC could win the highest number of governors, win the House of Reps, which were voted in the same day as the presidency,
House of Assembly,
if you put all that together, you could get
so for me,
I agree.
South used to be the stronghold of the PDP, and but in this last election they did something so marvelous. We won in Rivers. They won.
You mean the APC now?
The APC, yes, won in Rivers and came second in virtually all the other states. All the other states of the South. They even in Akwa Ibom, where we had the chairman of the APC PDP presidential campaign, the Governor Udo Emmanuel, APC came second. So the showing and the contribution of the APC into the presidential victory of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed,
that's the South, you mean?
South region, cannot be swept under the carpet. And so for that reason, it's only when you win an election you talk about power sharing.
Okay.
If you want to win, you don't talk about it. So that's why I have my reservations about the clamor by Ojus Okalu and some other persons from the South is asking for Senate presidency. It shouldn't be. It can't be given on a platter of gold. No, you have to bring something on the table. What has Ojus Okalu brought to the table? He won an election as a senator with 40,000 votes, and his presidential candidate scored barely 6,000 votes across the entire state. That means he protected his own interests and left the interests of the presidential candidate.
So many things could go on.
It doesn't matter, but the same day they did the election, the same day, the same time, same month, they are giving ballot paper at the same time. So there was some kind of conspiracy. So they should let their wounds for that conspiracy for now.
Okay,
South should be given up to.
Okay, so you in the South, what do you think the South brings being a Senate president? Okay, the South was the deputy Senate president, even currently, as we speak.
Yes,
okay, but he has left. He wanted to be a governor.
Yes,
so we're still looking at that.
So they should crown us with Senate presidency. And you South. Aside from being a resource base of the country, the treasure base of the country, we have contributed so much to the success of this president victory of the president-elect.
Which of the returning South senators do you see there with that cloud that can engineer or engender this leadership in the Senate? And
I've got a lot of them. All of them are okay, but following the rules of the Senate, I'm sure Akpabio, Senator Goswell Akpabio, is a ranking senator, so he's eminently qualified.
Minister of
former minister of
Niger Delta.
Yes, he's eminently qualified to assume that leadership position of the Senate and help the president to set agenda for a vibrant, constructive, and result-driven, utility-driven Senate 10th Assembly. And it's not just about anybody asking for Senate president. You have to look at the content of the individual. You have to look at his character. You have to look at his performance, his antecedents. Nobody can fault that of Akpabio.
But do you think Nigerians really know the contributions of Akpabio being a senator?
No, it's not just about being a senator. He was a minister of Niger Delta for 3 years, and I know people are quite abreast of what he has done, what he did when he was there. The NDDC headquarters in Port Harcourt that was started in 1994 by Ompadek under AK Osfor. Akpabio completed it in record time within 12 months. They left where they were hiring for 300 million per annum. They've gone to a headquarters commissioned under him. Aside from that, he built police barracks, he built road network. Even AK Clark had to comment that at some point that this was the first time he was seeing well-paved road, 11 kilometers around his vicinity, that he could see and feel the impact of dividend of the.
Okay, you mean the elder statesman?
Yeah, elder statesman AK Clark. You know, quite a number of achievements that he recorded within time frame. And again, you don't need to look too far. Go to his state, Akwa Ibom, when he was governor. He took a rural community and turned it to an urban center. That state prides itself as the best in terms of infrastructural development in this country, and I'm not just flaunting his ego. You need to go to that place and see state-of-the-art hospital, e-library, 12-story hotel facilities, road network, drainages, human development, human empowerment, turning boys to men, and all manners of achievements. You need to visit Akwa Ibom. I used to be in Akwa Ibom in 1999-2000 when Victor Atta was governor. By the time I got there later, 10 years later, I missed my way to my location in the wet housing, which is one of the prized housing estate in Uyo at that period. But after Akpabio 3-4 years, he has transformed the state that it is not just about Uyo, it's about the state. You see road network with street lightings and all of that. You see drainages and everything. You see hotels coming up, Le Meridian. You see Sheraton by 4 Point. Even Ikotekpene that used to be a glorified village, it's now a city, town, everything. He brought in airport. Okay. He brought in so many things. So we have people. Aside from him, we have other people, but I think because the rules of the Senate permits ranking,
okay.
You know, in terms of qualification to aspire to this kind of office. Okay. So Akpabio is very good to go.
Like I told you before, this is you're hearing the voice of Prince Kasim Efegbua joining me this afternoon to look at the issues of media relations for the incoming government, and of course the sharing of power in terms of the distribution of the ranking offices in the government of Ashiwaju. Hopefully that will be sworn in on May 29th. I would have said we'll take a break for him to drink some water.
I don't need water.
Observing the Ramadan.
I don't need water.
The Ramadan fast, so there's nothing for him. So, but of course, don't forget, this is. I know there are people there who may disagree with you, because this is the
people are bound to disagree.
Station. So yes,
people are bound to disagree.
So I want to give them an opportunity to give us.
They are bound to disagree.
Yeah, that is correct.
But I'm entitled to my opinion.
You are,
and it's an inalienable right that cannot be taken away from me. Not even by Ernest.
So let's see if you don't support, if you have anything to add or subtract from what my guest has said, you are free. I don't want people grumbling. We are giving opportunity to everyone. This is Citizen FM for Nigerians. So you can call us 0903-222-9797. 0903-222-9797. Better still, there's an alternate number, 0818-2222-205. 0818-2222-205. You can call in, and then we'll take your opinion as well and see if you can guide Kasim properly. Maybe he has distributed the offices in the wrong manner, and you feel, or in reaction to any other of the issues we've raised today in terms of the media relations and those who manage the image of the president as well as manage information for Nigeria. All right, so thanks for being there. Kasim, now, coming back to this issue of the office distribution that you were talking about. So you say the Southeast should be the deputy speaker. That's how you rank the Southeast, to be the deputy speaker. I believe there are so many people who may disagree with that. Although you alluded earlier that the Saudis have been speaker on several occasions.
No, they have been Senate president on 5 times in this dispensation.
Oh, Senate president, actually.
Yes, in this dispensation. They should allow another zone to taste it. 5 times Ochuba Okaribo, Evans Sawarem, Wabara, Anyim, and Ken Namani.
Okay,
so they should allow people to, other zones to enjoy what is there.
Okay, so you agree with the allusion some people have made that the northwest should produce the speaker then?
They can produce northwest or north central.
Okay, or north central.
Yeah, the northwest is just leaving the position of number 1 for 8 years, so they could go to deputy senate president.
Kazim, do you think this balancing of offices and all of that, do they really in the long run help the development of our democracy and the development of our country?
It's okay. It's not. There's nothing wrong. It's about inclusion. It's about participation.
Okay.
It's about getting people to have a sense of belonging. It's about telling people that somebody is there to speak for you when you are not there. My mother in the village will not come to Abuja to ask for certain things in my community, but I can, she can use me to talk to 1 or 2 persons in government to say, please, we need this road. This road is bad, like we have been doing. There's a bad road in Edo State, the Auchi Benin Road, particularly at Ekpoma axis, terribly bad, and I saw, in previous government, like when Oshomole was a governor, he will fix proper rules and put the bill to them for them to pay. When he left, the federal government paid about 18 billion to the current government as a refund of Oshomole's intervention in federal infrastructures.
Okay, yeah.
But now the present government has been sleeping in the state, and so rather than fix that particular portion of Poma Road that has failed, just barely a kilometer stretch, it's taking forever. You need to travel on that road, you will lament and you will weep for yourself, and it's been like that for the past.
Yeah, I'm sure he will get to it before he
will get to
leaves
it
office. But Kasim, the point I'm trying to make here is this. You here, you're my friend. I'm not from Edo State. People say, despite distributing this thing and saying you are from so state, so region, Kasim, there are people from Edo State. I will have more access to you than them. So your being from Edo State does not really help them in any way when people from other states have access to you as your friends, as people who can relate.
It doesn't matter, but politics is local. In the final analysis, I'll have to go back home when I want to vote, and I will go to my polling unit. I will go and vote. And it is how much of relationship you have with your people at the rural level that they will use to also support your aspiration, whether you are supporting a candidate or you are presenting yourself as a candidate.
Okay.
So it's not just about you having a network of friends elsewhere. That's okay, for the trajectory of life, but you need to connect to your roots. Okay. And like in this election, I went home and I went to my polling unit to vote, waited for the votes to be counted. Our agents took our slip and all of that. That's why when I was laughing, when I had people saying that you did your result on IREF, if any political party has agents, they should have the slip of all the election results in 176,000 plus polling units across the country. So this lamentation, crying and all of that, does not add up.
Okay. I'm just balancing that fact because so many people have complained and talked about competence, abilities, and all of that, and that saying that because the Constitution says you must pick ministers from all the states, you must appoint like this, like that, that it really distorts and disturbs the bringing the best brains and the best hands to work for Nigeria at a time. And when we look back at so many appointments made by former presidents and other leaders, we discover that they use this as an opportunity to just, we see some kind of, you begin to wonder, how did this person get to such an office? Do we not have more competent persons that can man such seats?
Well, until you give people the opportunity to preside over certain responsibility, you will not know whether they are competent or not. Some other people might also be boasting, but you test them. So it's.
But Kasim, we have our country where it is today that Nigerians are unhappy, which you have alluded to earlier. Young people are running away from the country.
Say from Nigerians.
Yes.
I don't like you to always generalize.
At least I'm happy, so I agree with you. Some Nigerians are there are a lot of Nigerians, but there are a lot of them.
It's natural. Everybody cannot be happy, even if you provide them with all the niceties of life. They will still have
the government must make effort to win some.
Not just government, even the people must also help government. I have been in government and I've seen certain things being done. Like I give you a typical scenario. You are building a road or you are building a rail track. You put all the slabs, all the rail slabs and all of that. In the night, people come and steal all those metals. They will go and sell them elsewhere. Do you blame government? Are they not incurring more debts for government or more expenses for government? Is that really not going to help you and I and all of that?
Exactly. We are saying the same thing because the people feel alienated.
So what
I'm
saying is that there has to be a symbiotic relationship.
Okay, fantastic.
Mutual relationship between government and the people, between leaders and their followers.
Okay.
Yes, because like an American quotation, he said, "It's only a leader that knows where he's taking the people, and not where the people are taking him." That's why people assemble to choose a leader, because you think that he approximates your collective aspirations and all of that, and he can deliver certain essentials that will meet that aggregate interest of everyone. Now you are building a railway infrastructure, and you expect that people should key into it, but as you are putting the track on, people are coming to steal the metals
because they don't understand.
What is it they don't understand? They don't know that they are building.
No, the government must get their back.
There are bad people everywhere. Ernest, please don't say that on air. There are bad people everywhere. You see, a president or leader preside over the good, the bad, and the ugly. But we should minimize those who are bad, who are saboteurs, economic saboteurs and predators, who are trying to drag us down. Should minimize that, so that we are able to at least deliver on electoral promises. Because when you are campaigning for elections, you make certain pronouncements, you make certain promises upon which you strike a covenant with the people. Now you have won the election. You want to translate what you have in your manifesto, your document, for the good of the people, and you see some people who are saboteurs trying to frustrate your effort. Then you still blame government? No, I think the people have a responsibility to be responsible. They also have a responsibility to reorientate their minds and their attitude towards anything government.
Who does the reorientation?
Who is the government? It is you and I. And are the government. Government is not a tree that is grown inside the Aso villa and standing alone, aloof, as if nobody owns it. No. Government is the responsibility of you and I. You are driving in Abuja road. The road is well paved and it has 3 lanes. Because of a little snag along the way, you form 6 lanes on a 3-lane road. Is that government? The people should know, they should be civilized that, come on, let's maintain these 3 lanes so that we can get off this.
These are the challenges. The Nigerian people are not that
No, it is not that they don't know. It is just that some of them are just so crude in the way and manner. Everybody wants to get to his destination on time. You don't consider the time of the other person. I call it every day when I'm driving on road. I'm going to walk and I see people jumping, beating traffic lights and all of that. The law says green, you move, red, stop. Why won't you just stop? It's just 2 minutes. Oftentimes you see a lot of accidents in Abuja here. People kill themselves and all of that because they wouldn't apply brake when it matters most. You know, I have been on the traffic lights. Police were chasing me. My vehicle was badly damaged from the rear, and so who do I hold responsible? I was talking to the police were talking to the I said they were chasing Amrabas and the Amrabas they couldn't hold. So this is the issue. We need complete attitudinal orientation.
That's what I was asking you.
But the government, listen, you can't tell me that government is not doing attitudinal orientation. Every day you turn on the television, you see adverts. You see what
by the attitude of the leaders themselves.
The
leaders must embody attitude. They want the people to imbibe.
Listen to me. When there is traffic jam, do you see the leader coming to queue in that jam with you?
The leader should learn not to
No, listen, I'm asking you. No, is it a leader who is sitting in his office and signing papers and this thing and giving instructions? Is it the one that is going to be on this thing? You should know that if you behave orderly, that we will all get to our destination at the appointed time.
Okay.
But by the time everybody is in a hurry, in a rush, when you are even talking, they insult your father and mother.
Okay, but it's also a point to the fact that law enforcement has also failed to an extent.
How much of law enforcement do you want them to do?
People are not being sanctioned.
The system, we don't have a system.
Okay.
We have a dysfunctional system. And it will take you and I to make it functional.
Okay.
If we just apply our civic responsibility in the best of terms and able to connect the dots when it matters most. But if we just feel that, everything is all about government, I'll say no. You are approaching a roundabout. You should know that the man who is on the driving on the roundabout is the one who has right of way. But you want to dip your head into it and all of that. Even people who have traveled out of the country and they have seen how it is done elsewhere, they will still come here and be dragging the road with you. It's just in us. It's just in us.
But Kasim, for us to move ahead, we need to change that.
That is what we are preaching. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm saying that there has to be a complete attitudinal reorientation. You have to talk to the people. They have to change their behavioral pattern. They have to recognize that where their own rights stop, another person's right starts from there. Yeah. And so it shouldn't be a matter of I must get it right. I must get it. No, I must get to my destination. I don't care about the other person. There has to be a sense of communalism.
It's just that we are running out of time, because I was discussing with a friend about that, and that's what he said, that part of the challenges we have in Nigeria is that government has these great policies, but government sometimes is being sabotaged from within even.
Of course.
Even people who are supposed to help the policies to work, sabotage it for personal gain.
Of course.
We would have wanted to discuss and have your opinion on that. How Achiwaju's government is going to tackle internal saboteurs who may want to truncate his policies.
Well, Achiwaju has a lot of experience. He has legislative experience, been a senator before now. He has executive experience being a governor of Lagos State. He's got political experience being a political activist who fought for this democracy we are enjoying today. And so he's coming to the table with a lot of experience. And I know that as a team player, he's going to set up a cabinet that will make room for healthy ideas to flourish. In a country of close to 200 million people, if our population is right, getting the right caliber of people, maybe 100 or 200 out of that, shouldn't be difficult for a man who is well networked like him. And so he's very interactional, he's conversational. And so I know that he's going to robustly engage the Nigerian people, the Nigerian electorates, all the geopolitical zones, and see how we can balance power, how we can get the buy-in of everyone, into governmental policies as he continues to churn them out. But like he said, it's not going to be government of national unity, but government of national competence. And competency is the watchword. And if that is the watchword, it means that there is hope for you and I, and there is hope for all of us.
All right, Prince Kasim Afebwa joining me this afternoon to look at the issues of power sharing and, of course, media relations in the incoming government of Achiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, which we look forward to come May 29th, 2023.
Please, thank you very much for the opportunity. Please remember South in your power sharing formula. Give Senate presidency to South, give it to Godswill Akpabio. He's a performer. They call him a performer, a reformer. They call him an uncommon governor, an uncommon minister, an uncommon senator. So we want to see him as an uncommon Senate president.
All right, thank you so much, Kasim Afebwa. I want to thank all of you for joining us, those who listened in, and of course my producer Fred Nice. Thank you so much for your able production. My name is Ernest. Don't forget, tomorrow afternoon we'll be back here with another guest to look at the issues concerning our country and how we move forward. Do have yourself a wonderful day, and like we just said here, remember, be a good citizen. That's how we can get that great country of our dreams. Have a wonderful afternoon. Bye-bye.
Prayer is sponsored by the Nigeria Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs.
Allah